Welcome to the NoDQ.com live recap of Friday Night Smackdown for September the 3rd, 2021. We have All Out this Sunday. I will be talking about Rampage at the end of the video, but we will be starting off with Smackdown, which was, interestingly enough, in Jacksonville, Florida, the home base of AEW. Let's go ahead and get to this recap. We started with Pyro. When's the last time we had Pyro on SmackDown? It's been a while. We had Michael Cole and Corey Graves. Unfortunately, Pat McAfee is still recovering from COVID. Hopefully he will be back next week when SmackDown is at Madison Square Garden. We opened the show with the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Usos, up against the Street Profits in a contenders match. Roman Reigns was backstage watching. You had the Usos cut a promo talking about how the Street Profits last week interfering in the Bloodline's business. That was disrespectful as far as the Usos are concerned. The Street Profits came down to the ring and they cut a promo, mocked the Usos, said that the Usos need permission slips from Roman Reigns. We had our match. Profits had a hot start, but then the Usos caught Ford doing a crossbody over the top and sent him right into the barricade. And then Dawkins eventually got the hot tag. However, Jey Uso quickly regained the upper hand. Ford tagged back in, hit the big frog splash, but Jey was able to make the save. And then I guess Jey did not leave the ring. You know how these matches, technically, the illegal person is not supposed to be in there for more than 5 seconds. Of course, nothing is ever enforced. WWE, AEW, like, you have these breakdowns and, well, people just fight. But this time, the referee decided, nope, this match is over. I've lost control. Of all the matches we've seen in recent years, this one was too chaotic to control. Referee called for the bell. I guess the Usos got DQ'd. But yeah, it was silly. And then afterwards, the Usos continued to beat down Dawkins. They threw him into the steps. Montez Ford came over the top with a big dive onto both of them. And backstage, Roman Reigns was not amused with this. He was not a happy camper. Then we had Paul Heyman interviewed, and Brock Lesnar was trying to call Heyman because it was Brock Lesnar's ringtone, I guess, meaning that was Brock Lesnar. Heyman blew him off on the first call attempt, but then did answer the phone, and Lesnar apparently had some kind of big message for Heyman. And as Heyman walked away, you had Big E, who is the Money in the Bank contract holder. He was standing around in a janitor outfit. What is he, R-Truth, trying to wear disguises and pop into random places? But yeah, Big E made a cameo as a janitor for some reason. He was laughing at Heyman. I guess maybe the disguise is that he could show up anywhere and cash in. I don't know. Matt Helms with a $10 super chat. Thank you for that, Matt. I appreciate it very much. He says, hello, Aaron Rift. Hello to you, Matt. I hope you're doing well. Hap Connell sent in a $5 super chat with a little This Week in WWE History. He says, in 2007, 11 WWE superstars were suspended after being tied to an online pharmacy. However, Randy Orton lost no TV time. And yes, people in the chat room are talking about Big G. We are on the eve of Big G's wedding. Hopefully I'll have some pictures for you guys this weekend from the wedding. Gonna be a fun one for sure. I heard there's gonna be like a special wrestling entrance, but that is not confirmed. However, I will try to get footage if that does happen. We had Becky Lynch, the new SmackDown Women's Champion, of course, come to the ring for a promo. She got a huge ovation despite the start of a heel turn. Crowd was chanting for Becky. She said that last week nobody gave her "you deserve it" chants. And of course, the fans busted out a "You Deserve It" chant. She praised Bianca Belair, said that she's maybe the most athletic woman in WWE history. However, there's a problem. Becky said she's being portrayed as the bad guy, and the simple fact was that Bianca Belair was not ready. And that is on Bianca Belair. Becky said that Bianca cannot fake experience. This led to Bianca Belair showing up and said that she's not going to make excuses. She earned her rematch. She just wants her rematch, and she wants it on Smackdown. She said that since Roman Reigns was going to defend the Universal title against Finn Balor, why not Becky Lynch defend against Bianca Belair on the same show? Of course, the crowd chanted yes, but Bianca said no. And she took her leave, walked away. Caleb Jacobs with a $2.48 super chat says, fantasy booking, Brock Lesnar is firing Paul Heyman. Might happen. We'll talk more about Brock Lesnar in a few minutes here, but that could be a scenario. But I tend to think Heyman's going to turn against Brock, but we'll talk about that more later. Matt Helms with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Matt. Says, do you think Becky Lynch is beautiful? I think everybody is beautiful in their own way, but yes, she's an attractive woman. And I think most of you would agree with that. We had Dolph Ziggler backstage running into Toni Storm. Toni Storm making her first appearance in like a month. And I guess they're flirting or whatever. Ziggler wanted her to watch his match, and she said that, yeah, he's great. However, she will be rooting for his opponent, Rick Boogs. And that was that for Toni Storm on this show. Well, I guess she's getting TV time, better than nothing, right? We had this match, Rick Boogs' first singles match on SmackDown, and it was fine for what it was. It was very short. Boogs picked up Ziggler, press slammed him, held him up there for a while, and then went for the pump handle, but Ziggler got out of it, and Ziggler went for the super kick. Boogs grabbed his foot and then hit the pump handle slam, picked up the victory. You know, basically, Dolph Ziggler is like his brother on AEW, basically just there to enhance the other talents. That's what he's doing at this point. Greg says maybe Rick Boogs will introduce Big G. Man, if Big G could pull that off, he truly would be Big Baller G. Let's move on here. We had Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce confronting Becky Lynch backstage, and they said that the match for the SmackDown Women's title will take place at the upcoming Extreme Rules pay-per-view. I almost forgot the name of the pay-per-view. It's Extreme Rules, and it's coming up in about 3 weeks, I believe. Gonna be a fun one. I mean, certainly it's got to be better than the horror show, right? We had Seth Rollins versus Cesaro, a rematch from WrestleMania, and I believe WrestleMania Backlash. Their feud was rekindled on this show. And before the match, Rollins did a promo, said that Edge has been an inspiration to him. And they had this match. Rollins hit the buckle bomb. Cesaro kicked out of it. Rollins then started busting out moves from Edge. He hit the Edge-O-Matic, which is one of Edge's signature maneuvers. But Cesaro kicked out of that. And then Cesaro tried to get the swing on, was unsuccessful. He finally got the big swing on, went for the sharpshooter, but Rollins got to the rope. Cesaro went to the outside, went after Rollins, and he charged at Rollins. Rollins grabbed the chair and basically used the chair as a shield. Cesaro crashed into the chair, and the referee called for the bell. So I guess Rollins defending himself with a chair, like just using it as a shield, was grounds for a DQ. I thought you had to use like a weapon in an offensive manner. If it's a defensive manner, does it really count? I guess it does in this case. So 2 DQs on this show, by the way. And after the match was over, Rollins used the chair. He grabbed that piece of the chair and put on the crossface to Cesaro, just like what Edge was doing to the Bloodline. And then he was going to finish off Cesaro. He hit a big curb stomp, and then he went for the concerto, but Edge finally made the save. I'm surprised it took Edge so long to show up. Why not show up as soon as Rollins was going for that piece of the chair? Like wasn't until the concerto that Edge decided to run down there and help out Cesaro. But hey, I guess Edge helped somebody. You know, it's nice that Cesaro has one friend in the locker room, because a lot of the time we never see somebody make the save and you wonder, does this person have any friends? Backstage, we had Paul Heyman telling Roman Reigns that they do have a problem with Brock Lesnar. Reigns said that Heyman has a problem with Brock Lesnar, and Heyman was like, no. Lesnar will be at Smackdown next week in Madison Square Garden. And Reigns was wondering, could Lesnar actually be there in Jacksonville? And I find it hard to believe that anybody on this planet thinks that Lesnar's going to show up at the end of the Smackdown, because they're announcing him for MSG. Why would he show up in Jacksonville? Just doesn't make any sense. But I'm sure some people bought into it. Looking forward to whatever Lesnar does next week. It'll be interesting to see if they set up a match or if they hold off a little bit longer on that. Some rumors going around that maybe The Rock will not do WrestleMania next year and Brock Lesnar will be in it, but I feel like you gotta pull the trigger on Rock. We'll see what happens. I still think Lesnar is going to be facing Reigns in Saudi Arabia. That's just my guess. Happy Corbin arrived as a guest on the Kevin Owens show. He thanked KO for not helping him, because that ultimately led to Corbin becoming happy and winning all of his money. KO, of course, did not want any credit for this. And then Corbin revealed that he had a special guest, Logan Paul. Everybody's favorite celebrity from YouTube, Logan Paul. And there were huge boos, of course, for him. Owens made fun of them for being buddies. And Logan offered Owens $100, saying, by the way, Owens looks, he needs the money more than Paul. Owens told Paul to leave, never show up again. Paul shoved Owens, and Owens was going to attack Paul, but then Corbin came in with a cheap shot and chokeslammed Kevin Owens. Why do I get the feeling we're going to see Logan Paul in a match? Maybe Saudi Arabia, but I'm having this feeling that they're going to do a match with Logan Paul. Maybe they do a tag team match. Kevin Owens finds somebody to team up with him against these guys, but yeah, I'm feeling like it's a realistic possibility. We had a very, very brief shot of Carmella just posing, calling herself the most beautiful woman on SmackDown. And Liv Morgan was off to the side, just totally disgusted by this. And literally this segment was like 10 seconds long. And I guess they got TV time. We had Sami Zayn versus Dominik Mysterio. Not much to say about this one. Dominik went for a 619 early. Sami Zayn rolled to the outside. He attempted to leave, but Rey Mysterio came down and stopped him. However, this ended up backfiring on Dominik. Dominik was able to, well, I should say Zayn was able to get the upper hand, and he hit the haluva kick, and he beat Dominik. And this was a pretty short match, only like 2 minutes here. And yeah, I guess we continue to see the tease of a breakup between father and son. We then had Naomi backstage, She approached Sonya Deville because Sonya said they could talk this week, but then Sonya said, we'll talk next week. Again, maybe a tease that Naomi's going to get fed up and she goes to Roman Reigns and becomes part of the bloodline. I'm hoping so. I'm hoping that happens. We then had Edge cutting a promo saying that he knows the game Rollins is playing. It's a dangerous one and it needs to stop. Edge challenged Rollins to a match one more time, rematch from SummerSlam at Madison Square Garden on next week's SmackDown. You got Lesnar returning next week. You got Rollins versus Edge, and you got a contract signing next week. Boy, oh boy, Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch are going to make it official for Extreme Rules next week on SmackDown at Madison Square Garden. Well, it is Madison Square Garden, but I'm feeling like I got to go let her grade down already. We'll see what they do, though. Maybe I'll give them a break. We had Finn Balor making his entrance for his Universal Championship match against Roman Reigns, but he was attacked by the Usos before the match could even get started. They used the steel steps. Street Profits ran down to make the save before any more damage could be done. And then, of course, Roman Reigns made his entrance. Balor refused to take a forfeit. He was going to do the match. So the bell rang. Reigns dominated for a while. Balor managed to make a comeback, used the apron to his advantage. He went for the coup de grace, but he missed. And then Reigns hit a Superman punch. Balor kicked out of that. Balor hit an inside cradle, got a near fall. And then he finally got the coup de grace on Reigns. But at the last split second, Reigns kicked out. The master of kicking out at 2 9/10 is Roman Reigns. And while he was kicking out, or powering out, whatever you want to call it, he gave Finn Balor an accidental low blow, which he's done before in other matches when he's desperate. And then he put on the guillotine. Balor fought and fought, but passed out from it. They made Balor look really strong in defeat, but the thing that was the most interesting about this, after the match was over, as Reigns was leaving, we had the Demon Balor heartbeat sound effect, as well as the lighting effect for the heartbeat, right as Reigns was leaving. And I guess we're going to get Demon Finn Balor at Extreme Rules against Reigns. I was really hoping that they would bring back the Demon for a match with Reigns, and you could get 2 matches with Balor and Reigns. You did this first one on SmackDown, and now you can do the Demon versus Reigns. Of course, I think the Demon's going to finally lose, but at least it gives Finn Balor a big, high-profile pay-per-view match with Reigns. Greg says, even though Reigns was always winning, there were some great near falls. Agreed. Reigns is really good at kicking out at 2 9/10. Dr. NXT Scorpio says, they teased the Demon. I did like it. As did I. And Mr. Block Ice 22 says they need to bring back the Demon. Overall, I thought the show was good. I'm going to give SmackDown a solid B. I would have gone higher if maybe they didn't do the DQs and maybe there weren't so many segments that just felt like filler to get somebody on TV. But all in all, I did enjoy SmackDown. I did think it was a good show. Main event was really solid. I'm going to put up this poll. I should have done it at the beginning. But you guys can go ahead and vote in that poll so I can get more of an idea of what the chat room thinks. I do get the letter grades in here from you guys. CC Drink with a B+, Matt Helms with a B, Dr. NXT Scorpio with a B, Daniel gives SmackDown a C, MVP Kev with a B, and Biblical Adrian gives it a B-. MVP Kev says Reigns and Balor carried it. All right, let me look at the poll results here. Looks like you guys are going with a B, overwhelmingly a B. a few A's, a few C's. We'll move on here now real quick to Rampage. I'll let you know if the poll changes at all. We had Malachi Black, and by the way, this was in Chicago. Of course, All Out is Sunday. Malachi Black versus Lee Johnson. And Lee managed to hold his own for a while, tried to stick and move. Eventually, Black got the upper hand, but Johnson was able to make a comeback, hit a frog splash off the top, but could not make a cover. And then Black regained control, went to the outside, grabbed the chair, put the chair by Johnson, basically offering it to him. Johnson stood up, and before he could really do anything, Black took him out with the Black Mass to pick up the victory, 1, 2, 3. Afterwards, Dustin Rhodes came down to the ring, grabbed the chair, Black left, and then after the commercial break, Mark Henry interviewed Dustin. Dustin was very pissed off, and he challenged Black for a match on next Wednesday's episode of AEW Dynamite. And that was that. I mean, pretty much what you would expect. Miro came down to the ring to cut a promo on Eddie Kingston, called Eddie Kingston a charity act in AEW, and said that Eddie is soft. He's now a bag boy for Jon Moxley. That's when we had Eddie come down. He said that it's bullshit that Miro calls himself God's favorite champion. He said that Miro is a sinner, and as far as redeeming things, Eddie said that Miro can redeem these nuts. And then he got in the ring. Miro left the ring. Eddie tried to go after him. Miro took advantage and hit Eddie with the championship belt. But somehow Eddie fought back from that and laid out Miro with a DDT. This was fine. Not changing my predictions, though, for All Out. Pretty obvious to me that Miro's going to get the W in this one. We then had Chris Statlander versus Jamie Hayter and Rebel in a handicap match. Good showing for Statlander. At one point, she had Rebel on her shoulders, and she picked up Hayter at the same time and dropped both of them. She put on the Spider Crab submission, and Rebel gave up. And then after the match, Dr. Britt Baker, who was also out there, the three of them surrounded the ring with Statlander in there, and then Red Velvet ran down to make the save, and I think the crowd kind of booed Red Velvet. So, yeah, I mean, the crowd likes DMD a lot. Greg says, why is Aleister Black, or Malachi Black, scared of Dustin? Well, Dustin had a chair. I guess when you have a chair, that makes you 10 times more dangerous. We had Mark Henry do the face-off segment for the main event with Darby Allin and Sting. On one side, on the other side, we had Daniel Garcia, and 2.0. CM Punk made his entrance, Big Pop, of course, in Chicago, to do color commentary for the match. And he did fine, you know, nothing too crazy or anything. Matt Helms sent in a $5 super chat, says, do you think Paige will wrestle in WWE or AEW? If WWE will clear her, I think WWE, but if they never clear her and her contract expires, I could see AEW as an option. I do think she will wrestle again, just a matter of when. Anyways, back to the match here, the main event. Darby Allin versus Daniel Garcia. Big money marquee main events they're putting on Rampage. Darby got sent over the announce table early in the match. Sting was brawling with 2.0. Garcia got some offense. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention, there was a comment here in the chat room to refresh my memory. Oscar says, Punk was offered a drink by the fan. Yeah, CM Punk jumped into the crowd again, so he's really confident he's not going to get COVID, I guess. Jumping in the crowd, and yeah, a fan offered him a drink, I guess. You got to try, right? You know he's straight edge, but maybe he'll shock you and actually take a drink. But yeah, hopefully we don't have an announcement on Sunday that CM Punk is positive for COVID. Just a little weird that they would let him do that, but hey, I guess if he's not afraid of it, then more power to him. But with millions of dollars on the line here, I think you would be taking some extra precautions. Anyways, back to the match here. Garcia got some offense on Allin, big superplex. He put on a rear naked choke, but Darby climbed up to the top and fell back onto the canvas. And Darby then hit a Pepsi twist, I guess, as a little bit of mind games with CM Punk. And then Darby eventually picked up the win. Afterwards, 2.0 immediately got in the ring and attacked Darby. Sting got in the ring, made the save, but it was still a situation where they were outnumbered. So CM Punk came down to the ring. Darby managed to do a dive onto 2.0 and then had a little face-off with CM Punk as Rampage went off the air. Show was okay. Nothing special. The first 2 weeks, it felt like a big deal. Rampage is starting to feel like a B show. I don't know if they're going to put more marquee matches after All Out on Rampage, but this week, I think it was very skippable, honestly. Gary Joe says it was a much improved Rampage over last week. Said Statlander looked amazing, which I do agree on. And the main event was okay, but, I mean, nobody was really going to buy into Daniel Garcia beating Darby Allin, especially 2 days before pay-per-view. So, to me, it was kind of anticlimactic. Same thing with the opening match, Aleister Black and Lee Johnson. They just it kind of feels like Sunday Night Heat in the year 2001 or WWE Jacked. It didn't feel like an A show. But yeah, I will say it was an improvement over the taped show. But still, I mean, a show you could have easily skipped. So I'm going to go with a C+ for this one. It's okay, but definitely something you don't have to go out of your way to watch. You didn't really miss anything if you missed the show. There was the one funny line with Eddie Kingston saying D's nuts, but you could just look up that clip on Twitter and get a laugh. Funny Army Prime says, do you think Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson is returning on Sunday? Yes, I do. And make sure you guys stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest regarding All Out. CC Drink gave it a C. Mark Del Rio, C-. Calvin Bowman gave it an A. And Biblical Adrian gave it a C. MVP Kev gave it a C+. I will be doing live play-by-play coverage on Sunday, so make sure you guys tune in for that. Enjoy your weekend. It's going to be a fun one for me. Got a lot going on this weekend. Take care, everybody. Stay safe. Hopefully I can stay safe this weekend. And I will see you all next time.